I couldn't do it. I just couldn't make a top 5 list. There's too many good comedies, guys. I just couldn't do it. So you know what? We go in top 10, baby. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel where I talk about movies. As you heard in the intro there, I usually like to do top 5 videos. I don't like doing top 10. I feel like top 10 is too much, top 3 is too little, so 5 is that nice sweet spot. Because as I was doing my research for this and looking at all the great comedy movies, I was like, there's so many of them. I can't leave this one out. I have to talk about this one. It's like, I need to do a top 10.
We gotta do a top 10.
So here's how we're gonna do this. I'm gonna start from number 10 and work my way down to number 1. They are in order of preference, and I'm not gonna go as in-depth as I usually go in my top 5 videos because obviously there's more movies to talk about, and if I go in-depth in every one of them, it's gonna be like a 40-minute video. So I'm just gonna keep it nice and short. I'm gonna tell you I liked it, and I'm just gonna maybe throw out 1 or 2 references in the movie and then move on to the next one. So let's do this. Coming in at number 10, it's American Pie. I absolutely love this movie because I connected it with a lot. It's definitely a relatable film if you're a high schooler and you're going through that time period in your life. And I also love the American Pie franchise. I mean, American Pie 2, 3, American Reunion, they're all great movies. I love watching them over and over again. I know there's like a couple other ones, like the camp ones, that are absolute garbage. Aside from those, the ones that I mentioned are really good, and American Pie, classic comedy. Alright, moving on to number 9, it's gonna be Blues Brothers. This is an absolute classic. Not a lot of people in this generation may not like this movie. It's a little bit longer, it's a slower pace, and if you're accustomed to all this fast-paced, you know, media that we're going through right now, you might get bored in this movie, but I'm telling you, if you can just appreciate the time period that it was made in, this is such a funny movie. The chemistry between Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi is awesome, and there's always this random lady that tries to kill them every now and then with like a flamethrower and shit like that. It was just so hilarious because she just popped out of nowhere. It's like super random. Alright, moving on to number 8, it's gonna be Superbad. This is also another film that's super relatable if you're going through high school. I mean, I might as go as far as to say it's a must-watch if you're in high school. I mean, this is such a classic for this time period. Jonah Hill's hilarious in this movie, and the McLovin scene to this day stands as one of the funniest scenes ever made. Alright, coming in at number 7, it's gonna be Zoolander. This movie is outrageous, straight up outrageous, okay? It's definitely a certain style of comedy that's ridiculous, and if you're not into those really ridiculous type comedies, you might not like this movie. But if you are a fan of goofy comedy, this is probably as good as it gets. I mean, Ben Stiller, Will Ferrell, this movie's phenomenal, okay? What's the name of the look that he would? Blue Steel?
Well, I guess the look I'm best known for is Blue Steel.
What's that look like?
And I also think this scene's quite funny.
What is this?
A center for ants?
What is this? A school for ants? Coming in at number 6, it's gonna be Hot Rod, baby. And I just have 2 things to say about this movie. Ultimate Punch!
Ultimate punch! Ooh.
Dude, if I ever land an ultimate punch in one of my fights, for you guys that don't know, I'm a fighter. If you want to see some of my fights, I have a different channel where I post that. I'll link it in the description below. But back to what I was saying, if I ever land an ultimate punch in a kickboxing fight, I'm a certified legend. Remember that. The second thing I gotta say about this movie, cool beans.
Cool beans?
Cool beans.
Cool beans.
Cool beans.
Alright, coming in at number 5, it's Dumb and Dumber. Jim Carrey is an absolute GOAT in the comedy world, and this movie, in my opinion, has the greatest, funniest scene ever. The ending of this movie, when a big bus of hot-ass models come and they ask these 2 guys that are walking, we need 2 guys to oil us up before our shows. Do you know anybody? And Jim Carrey's just like, oh, you're in luck. There's a town about 2 miles that way.
You are in luck. There's a town about 3 miles that way. I'm sure you'll find a couple guys there.
It's like, you dumb motherfucker. And that's the beauty of this scene, because I thought the joke ended there, but it gets better. Because then you see Jeff Daniels realizing the mistake that Jim Carrey made, and then he's running after the bus like, oh my god. And me watching the movie, I'm thinking, oh, finally someone got some sense and realized what the f happened. And then it cuts to him in the bus and he's like, I'm so sorry guys, my friend's a little slow. The town's actually that way.
Excuse my friend. He's a little slow. The town is back that way.
It's like, what? I can't believe it. Alright, moving on to number 4, it's gonna be Meet the Parents. Talking about goats in comedy, Ben Stiller's another one of them, and this is one of his best movies in my opinion. You can't say bomb on a plane. Bomb, 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 bomb.
You can't say bomb on an airplane.
Bomb, 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 bomb. You gonna arrest me?
I mean, there are so many funny scenes in this movie. This is one of those movies where like every other 5 minutes you're gonna be laughing your ass off. All right, guys, now we're down to our top 3 best comedy movies of all time. And starting off with number 3, it's gonna be Wedding Crashers, Owen Wilson and Vince Vaughn. This is a classic. Forget about my opinion, forget about my top 10 list. This is widely regarded as one of the greatest comedy movies of all time. You have to watch this movie. It's hilarious. And I know these two guys are the star, but people often forget. There's Bradley Cooper in this movie. There's Christopher Walken. There's a big cast in this movie. And the number 1 rule about wedding crashing, you never leave another crasher behind.
Rule number 1, never leave a fellow crasher behind.
All right, moving on to number 2, The Big Lebowski. Oh yeah, baby, Jeff Bridges, and even better than Jeff Bridges in this movie, John Goodman. I love his character. He does not stop to crack me up in this movie. Oh, I just absolutely love him. But yes, Jeff Bridges, the dude. Oh, this movie's fantastic. The Big Lebowski, you have to watch this movie. And finally, my number 1 favorite comedy movie of all time. Guess what it is? Step Brothers! I don't give a f what anybody says. This is the funniest movie ever created in the history of mankind. The duo between Will Ferrell and John C. Reilly is second to none. They're the best together, and their stupidity in this movie is the funniest. Did we just become best friends? You want to do karate in the garage? Your voice sounds like a combination of Fergie and Jesus. I mean, there's so many great moments in this movie, and like one of my favorite scenes is this one when they go to their parents and they're like, can we build bunk beds? And the dad's like, you guys are grown men, I don't care. So is that a yes? I don't think they understood me. I don't give a f. So is that a no? I mean, they're absolutely ridiculous in this movie. Or also this scene when they're trying to sell the house and they're dressed as a like Nazi person. He's like, you're gonna love the neighborhood, and the other guy's dressed as a KKK member. Oh, this movie brings back so many memories. And to be honest, at least in my high school in the area that I lived in, the general consensus was the funniest movie of all time was Step Brothers. I mean, I don't think a lot of people are going to argue with me on that one. This movie is by far the best comedy movie I've ever seen. If you haven't watched it, God damn it, you have to watch that movie. You're missing out. You're definitely missing out. So Step Brothers, that's the number 1 funniest movie of all time. Definitely watch it. I recommend it. So let me know what you guys think about this top 10 list, and comment down below if you like the top 10 versus the top 5. And as always, I'll catch y'all later. Peace. Hey there, everyone. Before you click off this video, I do want to give a couple honorable mentions. Like I said earlier, there's just too many good comedy movies out there. I couldn't fit them all on this list. So here are a couple honorable mentions. Number 1, The Hangover. Now, what I'll say about this movie is I'm not a fan of the franchise, but the first film is one of the greatest comedy movies I've ever seen. And then the second honorable mention is going to be The Longest Yard with Adam Sandler. One of the funniest movies I've ever seen. The cast is absolutely unbelievable in this movie. You got great characters. And I'll be remiss if I didn't mention this scary dude that has the funniest voice in the movie where he's like, he broke it in my nose.
Ball, he broke in my nose.
So yeah, there's a couple more for you. Hangover, The Longest Yard, phenomenal films. Also, should I watch these movies? They're classics in the comedy world. It's called Groundhog Day, never seen it. And also National Lampoon's Animal House. Widely regarded as great comedy films. Never seen them. Comment below if you think I should see it. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.